Good morning. How are you this week? I hope that you guys are doing very well and everybody stay healthy and so everything's going well, very, very well with you. This week I thought about the benefit of the economic development. So in history, the human being developed economics and then economy, and then we had a lot of benefits, and then think about what kind of benefit we had. Recently, just one of what I struggle with is kind of prolonged lifespan. And long time ago, I was really surprised, early 1500, 1400, and then at the time it's a lifespan is about 20 years old in some area. So here's the graph is here then, and average the historical rate of the human lifespan is around the 1880s, about 39 years in human beings. It's an average in Africa and Asian country, Africa and Asia and European. In total, it's a 39.4 years, right? But nowadays, 2000, almost 2015, around there is a lifespan is like 100 years. How many increase? Almost 60 years in double half increased, right? It's amazing. So this is one of the benefit of economic growth. So think about how economic growth contribute to our society. And human beings developed the technology, keep going and on and on and then what? Just think about nowadays, about 20 years ago, we never thought about it. Like internet and social media, and we can talk, like right away in video chat, and we never thought about it, right? And when I was in around 1995, and I met my wife, and then she's here in America, and then I was in Korea, and then we talked to each other. There is no video chat, there is no, there is no any FaceTime, right? So at the time, my wife bought the calling card is a 60 cents per minute. But nowadays, if you use the WhatsApp, and then if you use Facebook, Messenger, and if you use the Kakao Talk, any kind of webs, they provide free video chat and chat, right? How convenient in terms of communications. That's why the communication is impact all the business area, right? What about nowadays? About months ago, and Tesla CEO, he flew to where? Universe. He planned to make what? Travel to universe, right? Maybe it's about $500,000 per trip. I don't know who. Maybe a lot of people can afford it, but anyway, think about the technology, right? What about speed train? And we usually take about 8 hours and 5 to 8 hours, but nowadays it's 2 hours so you can get there. It's amazing. So that's the benefit of their economic growth, right? They the human being keeps developing in next level and new level, and then along with the economic growth and technologies growth, we can reciprocal, right? Reciprocal. We cannot separate each other. What about the globalization? Just think about in 90s and was the company trying to reach, in America it's labor is too expensive, and then try to get cheap labor, and they go to company moving out to other countries, and then they make a network of business, start globalization. Then we can see how dynamic and how the world is going fast, right? Flat. And another one is urbanization. So everything, finance and all rest of the cultural stuff is gathered in the urban area, right? Restaurants and all facilities formed in urban area. So really convenient, and then really convenient and new lifestyle. So it is totally different from long time ago. And nowadays think about the rural area and urban area, how they are different. And it's a pro and cons, it's a prolonged lifespan. So we almost 2.5 years, the lifespan is prolonged about extended about 2.5 years, 2 times and a half, right? It's like 40 years to 100 years. It's good for us. Right? We can live long, but sometimes you cannot mobilize it. You just sit on the bed, and then you have a lot of tools to survive. I don't know. It's good for us. Nothing to do, right? On the bed, just breathing and eating. Fed by the nurses, right? I don't know if it's good for or not. And that's one of the benefits. And then what about convenience? Nowadays there's DoorDashes and Uber Eats, and then you just make a phone call and they cook and then deliver to you, right? And about 25 years ago, I came to America, and then I went to the market, and there is not much about they make food and sell, right? Side dishes and a lot of there is not much about instant food. But nowadays when you go to market, always there is kind of a food section, especially side dish section, and if you go to Korean market, and there's always the lot of side dishes they make and then sell. It's really convenient though, right? You don't have to cook. About almost 20 years ago, 25 years ago, we went to Thailand, and then for mission trip. And at that time in Thailand, people didn't cook much at home. Cooking home is really expensive, and then usually people and maybe they could buy the food from the vendor on the street or market. So rich people hired or maid or people and made and then let them cook for them, right? That's a rich people's job. No, life, I mean. It's really convenience. What about the leisure? Leisure, they say leisure. What about leisure? So it depends on what kind of lifestyle you're pursuing, and if you like a sports and just go and enjoy, right? And tennis, one of the big tennis tournament in Indian Wells, and then see the ticket how much it's gonna be, and then all the way top it's like $40, and if you buy the ticket straight from the office, but if you buy from others, like the third party, you have to pay the $120 per ticket, per ticket. But too many people there. It's just mostly the seats are occupied and no space. A lot of people enjoy. So if you play like a golf, and then maybe it's $30 to couple of maybe several $100 per round. Depends on. Maybe you couldn't like a car race, and people have a different kind of leisure life, and then they have a different hobbies, and they invest a lot of money, right? And if you like fishing and just pay for the fishing season, and then you could go out and just fishing, right? That's a benefit though. So we can do we can afford that lifestyle, and we can do it. That's why that is from the economic growth. But think about the really poor countries, and then they cannot have like this lifestyles, right? Still, they rely on the natural resources. They have to go to field, and they have to farm, right? And then they harvest from them, and they eat them, eat for themselves, and and then if they have and sell extra, right? And then trade with others, other goods that they need. It's a really benefit, but still people are struggling in different side of the world, other side of the world, right? Lot. Maybe we cannot say in everything, but we have a lot of benefit from the economic growth. If you live in America, if you live in Korea, if you live in China, and if you live in rural area, maybe that much benefit from the economic growth. But if you live in a city, and small city or city, definitely you have a lot of benefits, right? What are the challenges resulted from the economic growth? Have you thought about it? On the side, we developed a lot of things, it's this spillover effect, and then we have a benefit. The other side, even though we don't mean that, but still a lot of different things happen, right? So today we're going to talk about what is the global economic challenges, and then this is American point of view. So I try to get the information from the kind of world view. So, but the idea is from the American view, right? So, but still there is only the world context there. So I got the information from. So I got this information from the booking.edu, and then you can see if you're really interested, if you want to read all things. But the perspective is there's a global context and there's American context, right? So I got the information about the global context. But if you are interested more, and then you can read that one there. And I can get some idea from the other books. Yeah. What kind of challenge are we facing now? because of the economic growth. So number one is first of all is energy and environmental security. And according to the United States Energy Information Administration, EIA, and China's oil consumption increased by almost 500,000 barrels per day in 2006. The information came out in 2006, so based on the 2006, it's around, at that time it's around the population, world population is 2.65 around there, 2.6, yeah. And around about 38% of the total growth of the world oil demand. And look at this. India's electricity consumption is estimated to grow from 519 billion kilowatt hour in 2003, and then what? Almost one and a half and 84.5 billion kilowatt per hour in 2010, right? So India and China is one of the very fastest growing countries in terms of economics. And what does it mean that? And they consume a lot of more oils and they consume a lot of electricity. Maybe that country, because of the demanding, because they wanna make products and then what? And because but the other side is, we had environmental issues, carbon issues, energy issues, energy shortage. I don't know how long we can use a gas, right? Oil gas, That's why nowadays it's kind of hybrid and electric cars came out, right? That's the alternative way that we can deal with this problem. But I don't know whether it's really effective or not. Because if you want to generate this one, and we have to consume other, maybe we cannot use this one, but we can still use for this one, we can use other things, right? Oils and produce this one, or this one. Well, overall, EIA forecast that worldwide oil consumption will rise from 80 million barrels per day in 2003 to almost 95 in 2030 is almost double, one and a half, right? And 180 million per day. It means that we need more oils, we need more oil because of the demand of products. That's why there's an energy crisis and there is environmental security, right? That's one of the problems. But there is a suggestion is that, I don't know, perpetual permit for carbon reductions. But there is the laws requires, and then how can we give them regulation to reduce the carbon? I don't know. And annual permit for emissions, just to try to evaluate the whole process, and it's not effective and efficient, and then try to change to others, and they need to develop. Just think about when you try to solve this problem, and sometimes you develop other things about this to make another problem, right? Always correlated. But best way is to find what? Reduce original problem. And then even though we try to find a new way, not much contribute to the original problem, right? Yeah, there is some kind of regulation about private sector's investment in carbon reduction technologies, and you need to develop other things, right? Another technology to reduce the carbon. Yeah, keep investing, and if you need another one, and then other people are interested and invest and then develop other things, and keep developing new technology. I don't know in the future how will be like. What about the conflict and poverty? It's a really interesting kind of finding is that a long time ago, usually the civil conflict comes from the Asian ethnic hatred or political rivalries. But nowadays, the most powerful, predictable civil conflict are in the fact weak economic growth and volatile low incomes. It means that it's a lower income country, the lower income countries have more have more civil conflicts. And according to the UK Department of International Development, to see that a country with around 250 per capita income, which is like a family income per year, has a 15% likelihood of internal conflict over the 5 years. Right? But think about the 1% risk of economy with 5,000 per capita income, right? Family income is more than 5,000 is 1%. Interesting, right? And just think about the civil war. What happened in Syria, in Afghanistan, right? And there's a infant mortality, create refugees, and fuel trafficking in drugs and weapons, and wipe out the infrastructure. Buildings are destroyed, right? It's really hard for the outside assistance. And that happened is think about the Middle East, and then we're gonna talk about later, And then who's gonna invest there? Just private sectors, and the countries are very unstable, and then civil wars keep going on, and then what company gonna invest in the country? Right? Yeah, they said that the economic underdevelopment is a contributor to conflicts and poverty, right? That's true. And the people mostly more than 50 developing countries, and then around 3.5 billion people depends on the natural resources and revenue. Farming, cultivating something, right? But let's go back to the conflict in the Middle East. They called youth bulge. almost 70 million of the world youth are the refugees or internally displaced person. 70 million. And 180 million are illiterate, and as many as 300,000 fighters were the child soldiers, and 60% of the world are very, very poor. And child soldiers, there is a child laborers, and right? Still, this is kind of very, very linked with youth budget to the instability and conflict. Nothing to do for them. And I had a friend, he's working in Tunisia, right? Tunisia, and then once he came out and told me that there are a lot of young people, like high school and college ages and after college ages, and then nothing too much. That's why they hang around at the coffee shop and tea place. Try to help them to do something, but I don't know how it works. But in the world, just think about around 25 years old, around that age is a very big population of the it was a big portion of the population world. Even though economics and developed and grow, but still there is a struggling in life because of conflict and poverty. This is a picture that people think about it. Almost $1.90 per day. How many people? It's getting lower and lower, and then 9 is almost 2 billion people, but nowadays almost more than $1.2 billion population. They 2015 and they live with below $2. What about long time ago is around 500,000 0.5 billion people spend live with $1.9 to $3.20. But nowadays the population is growing, right? But overall under $2.03 is kind of getting lower, but still also this one is below the $1.90 group is population is kind of decreased, but still $1 to $3 is a little bit economics growth, right? That is there, and this part, this section is growing bigger. What about this one? There was $3.20 to $5.50 per day. It's more people. What about the $5.50 to $10 per day? From this point, and compared to the 1981 and 2015 is what? People are growing, then what? The population is what is a disparity, economic disparity is getting grow. In the beginning, it seems like not that big, and we developed, and people are getting better and better. But from this point, little bit they are upgraded in their capital. They make a little more, but still this part is getting bigger than before. What about before the $10, under $10 getting bigger? What about above $10? Nowadays it's 7.9 billion people. Can you imagine that they need $10 per day? Basically, I told you before, and then months ago I went down to Tijuana, and then I have a friend, Mexican friend, and then we talk about the economy, and then he said that usually they make $10 per day. If you don't have any skill and go work with your labor, you could make $10 per day. But think about how much how much hamburger is. A hamburger is about, nowadays it's like if you wanna eat double like In-N-Out hamburger and other hamburger place and have it in almost $9, $10 with the tax. Cheapest one is $6 something, right? If you go to In-N-Out and then just if you buy the meal, burger is also just a hamburger without any cheese, without, it's not double over and $6 something. So I observed that that's why young people, like if they are in junior high school or high school and Mexico, and when they have time on weekend and they go work with their parents. Sometimes they help out parents, or sometimes they need to do something to sell and other stuff. And Bible, the 6 of them family work together, they can make how much you want to make. Each person make 3,000 to 5,000 per day if they have a skilled job, and they can make 500. And 5-6 people and go out and work. How much will they make? Around 25 to 2,000 to 2,500. 2,500. That's why they live with them. So for their living, they have whole family go out and work. Even though economy is growing, you can see that one growing, but still there is a disparity is there. What about the competing in a new era of globalization? Nowadays, what can you call the trade war? It started. We cannot say it started, but it came out to the surface in last was the government, right? And they impose a lot of tariff on, and they kind of America, between America and China, they retaliate, and that's a trade war. And trade war, occurs when one country retaliates against another by raising imported tariffs and placing other restriction on other countries' import, right? That is a trade war. They competing each other. Can you think about the developed country and developing country? Can you beat each other? No. That's a big issue, right? Think about pro and cons. And tariff war, maybe this is the con, this is a cons, and then protect the domestic company from unfair competition and increase demand for domestic products. Maybe promote the local job growth, hire more local peoples. Just think about the companies moving, have moved out of country to another countries, right? And if they have tariff and there's a trade war, and the company, so last government tried to bring the company back to the United States to kind of to improve the local economy, the country economy, and improve the trade deficit and punish nations with unethical trade policies. That is the pros. What is the cons? And increase cost, and then sometimes you just increase cost and what? Came out to what? Induced what? Inflation. Grow, and it caused market shortage and reduced choice. Just think about, I talked to my friend, and he's running the steel company, he's product, selling the product, and established by the Chinese businessman, and then he already said and tried to sell the product, but they don't have enough products because they cannot bring in from the product, bring the product from the China. Because the COVID and before the tariff war, the trade war, their product is one of the category and restricted. But after that, and then still they will pay off that one, and then what? They want to bring into the product into US, but still no labor because of the COVID. And even though they ship the product here, and then what? There is no enough labor, and they have to stay in the port. They have to pay a lot of money. That's why. And there's a trade war discourages trade and slow economic growth, and then cut diplomatic relation and cultural exchange. There's a disadvantage and cons, but think about the pros for the countries. Nowadays, a lot of nations take nationalistic position. They put they put their own interest first for their country first, right? Not for the other countries. Look at this economy, trade between China and US. Can you see how much America depends on China nowadays? This is all negative. Bottom is negative, top is positive. Overall, every year, so it depends on getting more and more and more. But last year, and there's a trade war, and then kind of decrease, but still, American depends on China a lot. Right? I heard some kind of word around, and then if China requests to pay back their debt to America, and then America will be bankrupt. It means that they are really, their economy really depends on the China, right? What about the global imbalance? We already talked about the poverty and That is one of the imbalance, right? Think about the balance of the global current account balance. European countries are always positive. This line is blue and red between, and there's always a positive account, right? What about the red? United States, they have a lot of debt. They have negative, minus balance. What about the brown colors? China, they are more positive than the European countries. What about the green? Japan, they have more money, right? In terms of capital. And what about yellow? Advanced Asian countries. What about blue? What's blue? Who sells? The country sells what? Oil, right? Sell oil. Oil countries. What about the negatives? America, and what about and gray area? Rest of the world. The European country, Japan, China, and Middle East, and some Asian country, they are positive balance. And what of the African countries? What of the poor in Asian countries? Yeah, that's why it's really imbalanced. We don't have any problem living in America, right? With living in America, but a lot of people are struggling with life. That is an imbalance. What about the economic exclusion in the Middle East? The youth unemployment level is about 32%. The age is like 15 to 24. Even though they want to find a job, they cannot find a job. Maybe they don't have to go to after high school or junior high school, and they are of age to start work, but it's hard to get a job. So almost make out more than 50% of the unemployment, right? So almost then 62% is try to get a job in Middle East countries, but up to 50% is 32% is 50% around 64% in total they are unemployed. Just think about then if we have 10% unemployment, it's big news. We have 5%, 7%. Try to lower the unemployment rate, right? What about the women? And unemployment rate is almost 50% greater than for men. There is a disparity. So youth in Middle East countries and 3.5 times more likely to be jobless compared with adults. So what happened? The Middle Eastern youth are delaying marriage and the creation of their own family, right? About generation ago, the 63% of Middle Eastern men in their middle to late 20s were married, but nowadays not really. They keep delaying. right? Because they cannot support the family. We consider, just think about the country, the Middle East countries at all the way top in account balance in terms of global capital. But who doesn't have enough money and who doesn't have background like they are struggling like that, especially for young people. What about the global cooperation and global impact? What is the global cooperation? Global cooperation is like multinational corporation. It's called multinational corporation. Corporation is has business operating in 2 or 3 countries, right? The company are often managed by Prof and Rob, and have a central office in their own country, and then they have another branch office in other countries, and then simply exporting goods to be sold abroad, and right? It's not just importing. They generate the product with local laborers, right? And nowadays, I told you last time, when you call the service, customer service, and usually once in Indonesia, in Philippines, and in India, and who can see, right? That's one of the examples of their multinational cooperation. So multinational cooperation are driving the emergence of a new market and industries and technology and business model, and they crossed over the border, and they bring the finance and expanded the global value chains. If you have time, just read the book. The earth is flat. And if you go to another countries and what's up, you're never gonna miss the Coca-Cola. It's American brand, Coca-Cola. Now this McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken. I know, when I go to Korea, and then I can see a lot of things. Sometimes I don't know the brand, business, but still there. Before I come to America, Burger King was already there. So I liked the Burger King. That's global cooperation, and look at this, and then they try to make money from generate wealth from the countries, and then try to use the money for the countries, right? Try to help for poverty and economic and then environmental sustainability and humanitarian relief and health and human rights. They do a lot of stuff for the countries. They are really contributing. But on the other side, what happened? Multinational corporation and the leaders are facing a lot of expectation, and then critics, negative impacts because of the negative impacts. I got some negative impact of multinational corporations, and then there's one that is that the multinational corporations exploit the local labor and resources by paying relatively low price and low taxes than local firms. Well, maybe the government give them more benefit to hosting the company in their country, and they contribute to their economy, and the company, multinational company, corporations, and then takes a lot of benefit and obtain a high profit that are largely repatriated, right? And that's one of the examples that the multinational corporation can do. Sometimes we think that the colonialism and imperialism, after that and colonialism, and then colonialism is done. But nowadays we are talking about the neocolonialism, like this. They use their knowledge and skill and exploit, not the material stuff. And they take the benefit out of it with less low price. Look at this, another one. Multinational corporations use scarce local capital to finance their subsidized rather than being needed capital into the host country, acting as a drain on the host country's resources. Just think about it, we are the human being and created by the image of God. We have human dignity. But some people who have power, who have money, can exploit and take advantage of the poor people, labors and knowledge and skills. And their finance either, right? Also as well, right? What about the global health crisis? So about 2 billion people worldwide lack access to basic health service. I don't know how much you guys know that malaria impacts more than 500 billion people per year and kills more than 1 billion people. Equating to what? Approximately 1 death from what? Malaria every 30 seconds. Can you believe that? That's the leading killer of children and cost the continent approximately 12 million per year in lost productivity. I went to Michoacan. I had traveled to Michoacan for 10 years, and then we were visiting a church every summer, and then we helped out the church program. And the pastor's brother, first, second, third year he was okay, and then fourth year we were really surprised. And later, I don't know exactly 1 year later, and he helped out a lot, and then but 1 year we found out that and his health was not good. But we asked the pastor what was going on with him, and he said that they don't know. But the public health, they really they have insurance provided by what? Government. But so many steps, it's really tedious, right? And if his brother wanted to go to specialist, then they have to pay $60 per visit. It's a lot of money. Think about it. If you want to make $60, then he needs to go to, Brownfield and then 6 days. And finally, he raided the whole procedure, and then, but no way to save his life. He was 30 years old, and my kids are really shocked. Yeah, we felt really, really sorry. Yeah, people are dying like that. Yeah, so according to the Julio Frank, the minister of the health of Mexico, he estimated 150 million people and 25 million households impoverished globally because they are required to make out-of-pocket payment for health care. They cannot go because they don't have money. They have to pay for visit out of their pocket. Now there's issues. What about the global governance? Yeah, that one is another topic in like WHO, World Health Organization, and World Bank and UN. Yeah, we have a lot of expectation, but they are very big organization, but they are doing a really good job or trying to reach out and try to help other countries, but there is some issues there. But so they try to reform their organizations and structures, but it's impossible. Yeah, scholars say that. Yeah, we already talked about the global poverty, and we should really think about it. And Sahara Africa leave just 5 countries: Nigeria and Democratic Republic of Congo, Tanzania and Ethiopia and Madagascar. That's a poor country. Most half of them is really poor. Yeah, that's why one of my friends, he worked in Ethiopia, but he couldn't go back the country because of the COVID, and then maybe, if we go back, and then he tried to work for young people, so maybe I can have a partnership with him. Yeah, that's a really poor country. So more than 40% of global poor live in an economy affected by the fragility, conflict, and violence that 60% of it, it's a lot, right? Increase in 60% of it in the next decade. That's an issue there, right? What about the environmental issue? We already said a little bit in the beginning. Land pollution. Can you see a lot of trashes in the ocean and in the land? And sometimes I watch the video on Facebook and The animals, the sea creatures are tangled with treasures. Water pollution, I don't know. It's a lot of it. Sometimes oil spilled and the gulls and areas kind of contaminated, and right, plastic and sewage and plastics and one of the big things. What about air pollution? Can you see the LA sky at night? Can you see the sky in Korea and China? What color is in the sky? That is environmental issues. Yeah, I tried to get some idea from the books and others, but still a lot of issues there. We didn't, we don't say in detail. How can we deal with it as a Christians? What is your perspective as a Christians? How do we understand the whole situation? Maybe we expect economic growth, and we have kind of idea about economic growth. Economic growth make all people happy and convenient and make a good life. It's true. It's true. It is true. Even though we try to develop the economics with a good intention, a lot of things happening, things that happened without expecting our expectation, and reversely hurt ourselves, right? Hurt society eventually. It seems like we cannot make an ideal society in the world. Everybody is equal, they are equal, and everybody has equal equity and equality, dignity, right, freedom. That's the ideal society that we want to see, right? What is the cause of the problem? Why we try to develop the country with a good intention? What happened? Why? If you are Christian, we gotta understand about the fall. What is the fall? It's separate from God. And eventually, when God created the human being and whole universe, and then it was good, right? And God entrust human Adam and Eve to take care of all their creations. But except there is a rule that you should not do it. Don't eat the fruit which gives wisdom and knowledge in the center of the garden. But they violated the covenant, and they ate, tempted by the Satan. That's a fall. In another word, the human being disobeyed God in consuming their own desires. right? Whether they tempt or not, and then they keep up themselves and then what? Follow their own desire, which is against God's law. There is a big reason, right? That's the sin. Because of the nature of the sin, even though we try to do good and then something happened bad. So we gotta know the kind of basic understanding of human nature, sin, nature of the sin. We don't believe that human natures are good, but other philosophers and other people and religion believe that human is good. Human become like a God by themselves. We can get out of this suffering, right? I can be a God. I can control myself. Just think about it. If we have a really optimistic human natures, we are expecting, okay, let's keep the environment like before. It's really helpful for us. But think about human greed, and they want to do more and more, and then hurting environment, right? Produce more carbon, and then destroy the ozone layer, and make global warming, cause the global warming, right? That's the cause of the whole problem, nature of sins. They don't think about community. They don't think about others. Think about myself, my profit, my wealth. They don't care about people are dying, but they spend a couple of $1,000 for one meal. I was really surprised, and then my friend told me that his sisters are really affluent and then rich, and then she goes to lunch, spend $1,000. Can you believe that? Maybe that's not my level, right? No, there's too much. Even though I can spend $5,000 in Norway, maybe $100, $200 with a special trip for my families. I can spend $200, special trip for my family. And then, as a Christian, think about how I can use this money. So we are the steward, right? God introduced your wealth to us to take care of it. It's not just for own your good. It's for others' good. It's for the world. Obviously, behind we gotta remember the nature of sins, right? Against God's law, and separate from God, and they wanna go their own way. It's a humanism start. Long time ago, also our life is God is centered in our life. But nowadays, human beings we are centered in our life. It's different. Really selfish. Really self-centered, right? Just think about the stock market, and then nowadays, and hedge fund, how they are doing. What does the Bible say about the social issues? Here it is. And Deuteronomy 32:4, the rock, his work is perfect, but all his ways are just. A God of faithfulness and without iniquity, just and upright is he. God is just, upright. Think about what God wants to talk to us, tell us. If he's holy, if he's just, if he's upright, what he wants to talk to us, tell us, teach us. To lie, to cheat others, to take advantage of others. What about Psalm 89:14? The righteousness and justice are the foundation of your throne, God's throne, right? Steadfast love and faithfulness go before you. But righteousness, justice. Just think about it. God's kingdom is established by righteousness and justice. What about the Psalm 82:3? Give justice to the weak and the fatherless. Maintain the right of the afflicted and the destitute. Don't take advantage of the poor people. Don't exploit the poor people's resources, intellectual and physical resources. Even when I get them and pay right amount of money to live their life, even though they don't have to live like in American standard and your standard, but think about they need to treat right? What about the Isaiah 1:17? Learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and please the widow's cause. Okay, take care of the weak people. They might be ignored. They might be marginalized because of the system, right? Vicious system. We gotta take care of the people. What about the Ezekiel 18:20? The soul who sins shall die. The son shall not suffer for the iniquity for the father, nor the father suffer for the iniquity for the son. Okay? If you do something wrong, just to do that to the person, not others. Don't punish his son because of his father. Don't punish the son because of his father, right? Vice versa. What about Micah 6:8? He has told you, oh man, what is good, and what does the Lord require of you, but to do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with your God. It's not a sacrifice to God. It's not a donation to God. Just what? The Lord requires of you what? To do justice and to love kindness and to walk humbly with God, your God. What about the New Testament? This is about Luke 11:22. It's about he's rebuking the Pharisees. Jesus is rebuking Pharisees. But woe to you, Pharisees, for your tithe, mint, and rule, and every herb, and neglect justice and the love of God. And just think about what he did. They just followed what? They wear nice clothes, they keep the days, and they give the tithe to God, whatever they have, and then 1/10 to give to God. But they neglect the justice and the love of God. These you ought to have done without neglecting the others. What about the 1 Timothy 5:8? But if anyone does not provide for his relatives, and especially for members of his household, he has denied the faith and worse than any unbelievers. Take care of your families. But nowadays, because of money, families are feuding and fighting, and the relationship is broken. It's really sad. It's hurtful, right? I know a lot of people going through like that. Look at this, and then 2 Corinthians 5:10 said, "For we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ." Even though we don't go to hell because we believe in Jesus Christ, but we believe that He's going to judge over what we have done, right? It's not a salvation and hell. So for we must all appear before the judgment seat of Christ, so that each one may receive what is due for what he has done in the body, whether good or evil. Ultimately, when we stand before God, and we will not stand before Jesus Christ, and He's going to judge us, whether based on what you have done, good or evil. If you have a common mind, and then if we think about the Bible as a businessman, as a Christian, just think about how we can develop our economics. Minimize harmful things. Not just to build my greed, but think about and listen to God's word. One of the ways that the cultural commission, there is we usually think about the cultural commission is about how we take care of the environment, because when after God created and whole things, and then introduced Adam and Eve to take care of his nature, environment, right, universe, and then what about the Great Commission? And before Jesus Christ ascended to heaven, and then He said, go and make disciples of all nations, teach whatever I taught, and baptize them, right? That is a great commission. It means that the gospel of Jesus Christ is proclaimed, and those who confess that, I am a follower of Jesus Christ, and they need to become a disciple. Meaning that disciple, long time of the term is it's not just having knowledge and just graduate from the school. Disciple means that you have to follow the philosophy. It's kind of apprenticeship, right? Apprenticeship. You have to follow the philosophy, the lifestyle, and take it as it is if you are the disciple. That's a great commission. And what are the compassion? As a compassion commission, it's like we, it's really to take care of the people who are struggling with their life. To good. So cultural commission, just think about it, and cultural commission, and then love others is love God and love others, right? And compassion commission is a cultural commission, and great commission is all we need. But nowadays, people are really think about the really great commission. And kind of two ways that people in history, and then who really emphasize the proclamation of the gospel, they don't think about to take care of their life, people's life. Okay, proclaim the gospel is okay. If they listen to the gospel and then accept the gospel as Jesus Christ as they said, it's okay. That's enough. The other side is that we call the social gospel. People are struggling with the evil system, evil structures. And that is a kind of barrier for people who need to know to Jesus Christ. So people say that we're going to fight with the evil structure to people kind of free from the evil structure and have their life and to know Jesus Christ. But that's kind of extreme ways. When I was in college here, and usually I was kind of this way. Okay, gospel first, social need is second. But still, I don't deny the social need, but nowadays, and people say that nowadays evangelical Christians say that, okay, we need two rings. One is a gospel ring, one is a social rings. We need a spiritual ring. We need it together to proclaim the gospel. But depends on there's a lot of people work in really evil system and evil regime, and then and just think about liberation theology from in Latin context, came out from the Latin context. People really struggle with the life because the evil leaders who exploit his people, they try to fight with them. And that's a liberation theology came out, and there's a big issue, and then fight back with the poverty. White people are struggling still, they work hard but still struggling in poverty. They are still a kind of evil system, right? Systematic system, a systematic explorations. Cultural commission is that, it's really related to the environment. And so God said, just think about, and we already talked about the fall, and God blessed the human being, and God said, and be fruitful and multiply and fill the earth and subdue it, and then have dominion over the fish of the sea and over the birds of the heavens and over every living creature, living things that moves on the earth. And God said, behold, I have given you every plant yielding seed, and that is on the face of all the earth, and every tree that will seed in fruitful its fruit, and you shall eat them for food, and to every beast of the earth, and then to every bird of the heavens, that to everything that creeps on the earth, and everything that have the breath of life, I have given every green plant for food. Yeah, God gave them everything, right? But look at this. And Genesis 2:19 said that God teaches man to organize and create order with the creation. So out of the ground, the Lord God formed every beast of the field and every bird of the heavens and brought them to the man to see what he would call them. And whatever the man called every living creatures, that was its name. The man gave names to all livestock and to the birds in the heavens and to every beast of the field. Yeah, God said, don't destroy them, right? Don't destroy them. That's we need to think about how we can take care of the environment. What about the compassion commission? How can we redistribute our wealth? I know you guys work hard to make money, right? So a lot of people save the money now, really happy with a thrifty lifestyle. They will not buy a lot of things, but they refrain from buying whatever they want. But they want to buy this one, but they save in a little bit cheaper one and save money, save, right? It's hard to give out, share with others. But we are steward. I don't know what is your standard, your living standard, and then I don't know standard of your life. Maybe my standard is like 50% or 60% or 100%. I don't pursue like 100% or high. Maybe 50 and 60 and 70. That's my living standard. I don't go for the ordinary bottle, right? 20, 30, who living with $2, $3. Yeah, it's hard to say that decent lifestyle, but you gotta know that. What is a lavish lifestyle and luxurious lifestyle? Just ignoring the poor, ignoring the people marginalized. God blesses us with materials. How can we share as a steward? How can we take care of the money? That's commissions, compassion commissions. And Great Commission too. So we gotta teach about the Word of God and help them to follow and practice the Word of God. Maybe, and then we can come and reduce the problem. It's hard to, I don't think it's get rid of the problem because of the nature of the world. But we can reduce the problem, right? Yeah, remember the Cultural Commission, take care of the environment right and save the environment. And then Great Commission, teach the gospel and let them live with the Word of God, right? And Compassion Commission, and then we try to take care of the weak and poor, who doesn't have power and money, and marginalized. How to practice with the social issues? These three things, commissions. How can we practice? What about the personal level? think about let's take each one. So environmental issues, right? My daughter said that she went to college and then it's a lot of people are kind of interested in environmental issue and they kind of protest and then they make a project and present and they go to a lot of conferences and then, but when they see that their personal life, they don't mind using the plastic. My daughter said it, they are really hypocritical. They think about big pictures, but they don't think about the small picture in their personal context. Yeah, try to in family level and kind of in personal level. Just think about it. If you wanna buy drink, I know plastic can be a little cheaper. Usually when I in the beginning I didn't know about that one and I tried to buy a cheap one. Right? I don't think about health issue, but I buy the cheap one. So when I travel down in Mexico and when we eat the hot dog together and then one, and I bought a cheap one because I want to save money and use the money in different way. But later on, I learned and it's not good for it's not good for our health and it's not good for the local people. We contaminate the local people's land. And then I switch it to paper, plate, and cost. I know it's not a lot expensive. Maybe if you give them $2-3 instead of buying instead of buying the plastic and then you can buy the paper. But people doesn't want to do that. That's a personal level. What about the family level? So I'm not an environmentalist, but I said I need to try to save the environment, nature, because God commanded us to do that. I haven't done it perfectly, but still try to do that. So I discussed about using plastic, and okay, so can we reduce using the plastic home? Okay, I don't say that after that I never use the plastic. Still, we use the wrapping wrap, and then sometimes food wrap, the plastic, but I bought a lot of containers, so not the plastic container, right? And glass container and then silicones and reuse it. So instead of using a lot of plastic things and plastic and reuse them and over. That's why we try to do that. So don't use as we can do and try to use a plate. Washing may be easier than using plastic, and then it's easy to with the plastic, it takes a long time to dissolve, right? To be dissolved. But if you wash and then maybe you could clean the water in easier way than more than the plastic, right? That's the family level. What about church level, community level? Sometimes I don't like the churches. They they never thought about it, and they, without thinking, it's cheaper, they buy them. They don't think about environment. They exploit the environment, contribute to contaminating environment. And I was in a church, and sometimes I see how they using the plastic plate and papers and the plastic cups, and without any thinking. Just think about it, after one reading it, and tons of the plastic trash. So right? Can Christian community play a role as a pressure group? What do you think? Sometimes I heard, and through the social media, and then the company is really not good, and they're really bad, and then what? The church kind of people, people kind of organize, not introduce the product, introduce the company, and then not buy the product, company's product. That's roles of pressure groups. If we don't have any idea about preserve the environment, and how can we do that? Just think about it. How can we deal with the social issues? Poverty, discrimination. How can we deal with right? What about the governmental level? Governmental level is maybe they can make a policy, and they can be lenient with charities and non-profit organizations to non-governmental agents, and they can serve others, and then who are really in need, and then they cannot, government cannot do it. So that's a really good policy though, right? So thousands of non-profit organizations in the United States, and then they can do something, right? iPhone, last year I formed a non-profit organization, and then tried to support the students who are struggling with finance for their schooling. So I know we're still open to the United States. I know a lot of children are struggling with their food and schooling because of the poverty. But we are really focused on the other area in overseas countries. How can make a policy on redistributing the wealth, right? How can execute the laws and justice in the right way? So we cannot expect a lot of things, what I'm thinking from the government, from churches, but still in personal level and family level, you can do something, right? Maybe if you are in among the leadership at churches, and then you can say about something. Sometimes saving money is not a best way to preserve the environment, to take care of the people who are struggling with life. Just release what you have. Share what we have. Church needs to share with the others, willing to give. I know few churches nowadays and they provide an insurance and they try to take care of the community. How many churches are doing that one? It's supposed to be big ministry of the church. I don't know how many percent they use the money for that one, right? So a lot of conservative evangelicals try to ignore the social issues, and then they really focus on the preaching the gospel. But without with ignoring the social context, it's not easy to preach the gospel. Anyway, when we try to preach the people, Christians, to become mature disciples, and then we have to deal with these issues. We cannot be selfish Christians, only self-centered and take care of myself and take care of your family. It's not a steward. It's not a steward that God wants us to be. I know it's not there is a specific way that we can deal with the social issues, but nowadays we the evangelicals and like me and then church should be separate from the government. But in America, still they wanna put together with the government and use the government power to keep their ways. And just think about it, they're already divided. And when Israelites asking a king to God, and then God already there's a separate, right? There's not theocracy, political system anymore. That's why it's not easy, but we are living in the under the government power and government rule, and that's why our abilities are really limited, and sometimes and limited by the law. But still, as a Christian, we gotta think about it. God wants us to take responsibility for the society. But in what level? If you become a politician, and then you can do it in different level, but don't be like them, one of them. Lie and cheating the people, don't be like them. With conscience, sometimes you may be bullied because of your faith, because of your philosophy, but still, it's not for your faith to become a politician. It's for the society, it's for the people, right? But it doesn't function like that. It's really pessimistic and pathetic and depressed. But what's the goal? What does Bible say about the rulers, businessmen, and Christians? So I don't want you guys and ignore the social issues, and then nowadays, because of the discrimination and black peoples and discrimination is Asians, and then minority, and then hate crimes, and there's a lot of things that happen, right? How can we see that one, and how can we deal with it as a Christian? That's today the goal of the lecture is kind of think about how the economic growth contribute to our society, and what about the another side of the economic growth, and I mean, it's a Chinese. And how can we do that one, right? Okay, and then we can, yeah. So we have 2 more weeks, and then we're gonna we gonna have yeah. This week is we have this social responsibility, and then next week we're gonna have another topic of the how can we let's see, how can we another one is exactly another one is about how can we share with the people who are struggling with their life, and another one is let's see what it's about. I don't remember exactly. So yeah. Yeah, his is the civil government and economics, and how much government controls everything in economics, and then we are living under the government. What is our attitude about that one? And the last one is helping others, and then how can we donate? How can we help others? Yeah, there's 2 more topics. It's related to economics. Yeah. Yeah, I know today's topic is a lot of things. Maybe you might not agree with me, but I'm just really open to discuss about that one. And then if you have any questions, just let me know. And anytime, yeah, we can chat each other's. And if you need, my email address, and then christian.v@gmail.com, and then you can send to me, and then after that we can talk, and we can have a lunch, and we can talk about more of that kind of stuff, and then all right. So have a great week, and take care of yourself. And weather is really hot nowadays, and a lot of mosquitoes, and then I hope you will not be dehydrated and sick. There is coming because the temperature discrepancy day and night is really big. So take care of yourself very well. Okay, have a great week, and